So listen up, MTG players. The rent is due, and your landlords are here to collect. Honestly, we were going to send notices to each of you, but we figured this would just be quicker because there are a lot of you, okay? So we're just going to do this and just... Yeah, so here we are. So this is Graham here. They call me Hammox42 on the internet, but today you can call me Piggy Banks, which is a little bit of a problem for you because I never break, okay? And then we also got my boy Sean here.
Going on, friends? Sean here. I'm known as astralsflame, but you can call me Burns Money because I got so much I don't know what to do with it. And don't worry about this friend shakedown because we got some MTG that's gonna help this shakedown go down smoother. What are we talking about today, Piggy Banks?
So we got a new set coming out. I don't know if you all are aware of this, but we got Murders at Karlov Manor. Now, as long as it's happening at Karlov Manor and not the Banks estate, it's all good. Allegedly. So this new set's going to be dropping here in just a couple of weeks. So we decided, hey, let's talk about what are going to be, what you want to be buying, what you want to be selling, what it is that you need to be on the lookout for coming out of this new set. Looks interesting, I got to say. And also just saying, the style of this set, right up my alley. Definitely, I'm here for it.
I feel that like 10 out of 10. They know the flavor. If I could quote, they have officially escaped out to the plane of being boss level. They know where it's at. I mean, some of the cards are just coming at the next level, and we are not even gonna know where they're coming from because that's how well they escaped out of the time.
Absolutely. Yes, these cards know what is good for them. They know what's good for you. They know what needs to happen. And I gotta say, this set looks really enticing. I think it's gonna be a good idea to pick up some of these while they're low, because the stock's only gonna be rising on these cards in the very near future. So get those pre-orders or pre-order sales in right now. I mean, a lot of these cards are going for 30, 40 bucks pre-sale. I'm telling you, just get them while they're hot. Just make it happen.
And like, if you miss out, well, sorry to say, honestly, that's your own fault. Should have been buying boxes like Piggy Bank and Burns Money here.
All about that sealed product, baby.
That's it.
Yeah.
Investment opportunity. Investment's what you're gonna get out. And we've got some new mechanics to invest in with this set, if I'm not mistaken. Piggy Banks,
oh my goodness.
What we got here? We got three new mechanics.
There are 3 new mechanics. Okay, so we got a couple new mechanics to talk about. Is it just 3? I don't know. They're kind of weird. So we've got the new mechanics. We also have a new card subtype, which is kind of interesting. So for all you enchantment fans out there, we've got cases now. And so we got cases. Yeah, so we got a couple of these. They look like sagas, if you've seen sagas before, but these ain't your grandma's sagas. I don't know why your grandma's got sagas, but in any event, these ain't them. So with the way that a case works is when it first enters the battlefield, you get a special ability. A lot of times it's an end of the battlefield effect. Maybe it's a static. You got something going on here. Then you got to solve it because it's a case, of course. It's a mystery.
Naturally.
Right? Of course. And the way that happens at the end step, if you meet a certain condition, the case gets solved. And then you get extra bonuses, something extra special just for doing that. So I got to say, I think the cases are pretty interesting. Are there any, what are your thoughts on cases there, Burns Money? What you thinking?
You know, I'm liking cases. The big thing is because cases are just where we're going to put more of our money when it comes in. Like, let's be real here. The case unsolved, I believe, is the first part. So like Piggy Banks here said, there is a static ability or something that happens on ETB. But my favorite thing happens when a case is unsolved because you got to figure out a way to get in there. And Burns Money is all about solving to get to that bottom line, because once a case is solved, you get the end effect of it, and that's when we're going to cash in the flow and cash in on the reward, and that's what you're going to be doing as you solve these cases coming on in.
Absolutely. Well, and the names are pretty fun too. We got like the case of the Filch Falcon, case I believe the Submerged Skeleton, whatever. They all sound like Hardy Boy mysteries, which I gotta say, if you didn't invest in the Hardy Boy novels back in the day, man, I got a whole offshore just lockbox full of them. One of these days, man, it's gonna make a mint. Just saying. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Got one?
Oh, you're right. I mean, hey, I missed the boat a little bit.
A little bit.
We're gonna.
I know.
I know.
I got like 2 sitting, man. Like, come on.
All right. Okay. You got me. On that one, anyway. We got other investments. Don't you worry.
We do have other investments. What's another mechanic? I think we got to do some. What suspect? We got suspects coming in.
So we got suspects, and now it's important to not become a suspect yourself, right? You want to keep the folks off your tail. You got to keep the other pigs at bay, right? Yeah. Except me, I'm always on your tail. But the suspects, right? If a creature becomes a suspect, it can no longer block but it's also a menace to society. So it's going to be difficult to block itself. So if you're doing aggressive strategies, suspect, pretty darn solid, if I may say. It's also interesting because we have a couple of effects that can turn creatures into suspects. And sometimes you want to do it to your opponent's stuff. Sometimes you want to do it to your own stuff. And there we got a couple of other interesting cards leveraging the suspect mechanic. You know, we have things like it doesn't add up, for example, or we have cards like airtight alibi, which can do away with suspects and interact with it. If a card doesn't specifically say that it interacts with suspect status, then it doesn't. Nothing does. If a creature is a suspect, it's a suspect. It's not an aura. It's not another kind of status effect. It's similar to being like face up or face down. It just is what it is. And so if you're a suspect, you're a suspect. And it's perpetually.
It is.
It's perpetually a suspect. Because that's what we're doing in paper now, because why not?
Yeah,
but don't you worry. At your pre-releases, they'll have little punch cards. That'll help you with that.
Yeah, just punch them out. Punch them out like you're going to be punching out the money to buy more product to fill out. As you're selling those singles, Piggy Banks and I are going to be wrapping up those singles and tucking them in our offshores and making some more cash. Because your landlords are always collecting rent. That's going to go. Actually, that reminds me. There was one card, if I remember, Piggy Banks, that was spoiled the other day. And I love this because this is a card that can take the fall for me. The Fanatic Goat, I think it was. It's literally my scapegoat. It coming in as a suspect already, so it can take the heat off of me anytime.
It's important. You got to have those alibis. You got to have those scapegoats. It's critical. When you're working in the kind of business spaces and you're moving around the kind of money that we're talking about here, you got to have those contingency plans, if you know what I'm saying. Because that's all. We're nothing. We're just legitimate business people. Just remember, always legitimate business people.
Yeah, remember, say it with us. Legitimate business people.
I don't got no abilities. I'm just a 1/1. What you talking about?
We're just cashing in. We're going in. I'm blocked. I'm protected. We're fine and safe. Don't worry about the abilities. It's not like we're going to flip over like some other new mechanic coming in, right? There's no way there's a deceptive mechanic to set, right? No secrecy.
Yeah. So for folks out there who aren't as confident in themselves as we are, and I'm sure you all are out there listening, because I mean, hey, you got excellent taste when it comes to the kind of information that you're trying to get out there. You're probably very confident in who you are. But for folks who are not confident in who they are and what they're doing, they might actually wear a disguise. Well, some of your creatures cannot wear disguises as well. So if a creature has a disguise cost, you can play it face down for 3 mana of any color. You play it face down, you get a 2/2 with Ward 2. Now that may sound like Morph, but let me tell you what, man, there have been some excellent advances in the morph industries over the years. And these things, man, they are better than ever. So the face down creature, still a 2/2, still no abilities, no name, no mana cost. You know the deal. But it now has Ward 2, makes it a lot tougher to remove. So these morphs don't die to cut down, at least not easily. If the opponent's coming at you with removal, they got to mean it. They got to pay for it. Don't forget, you always make them pay for it. It's important.
Rule number 1 of being a landlord: you never pay for nothing.
Never. Absolutely. You make your opponents pay for all of it. Ward is truly the finest mechanic, if I may say. Also taxes. I mean, that Thalia, she knows a thing or two. Just saying. Absolutely. In any event, once the creature's face down with its ward, you can flip it face up for its disguise cost. And so that's marked on the front of the card. The fun part is, you, as the owner of the face down card, you actually get an opportunity to look at that card whenever you want. Your opponent has no idea what it is. They don't get to see it. So yeah, you just get to keep that secret. It's disguised. You get to surprise them with it later. And a lot of great effects. A lot of these cards have cool effects when you flip them face up, and their stats get all wonky. It's really fun.
Yeah, you get like 2/2 slipping into 4/4s. You get some other cool stuff going on. Extra abilities coming in. You get all kinds of stuff. So this is the rules we're telling you on how to invest in the MTG verse. First, remember, like we said, you got to get your cases. The cases are where you're going to store the money. The cases of whatever, that's the distraction. That's why you got the suspect. When the suspects comes in, they take the heat off of you, and then you can use disguise and slip away with your cases all solved. It's the perfect way to escape the matrix into making money in the Magic universe. And that's what your landlords are all about. I mean, maybe we don't help you, but we help ourselves. And really, isn't that what you want to do? You want to help us more.
Exactly. We're going to help you help us. That's how this works.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Very cool. So we got those mechanics. Oh, there's also this mechanic called Cloak. You might see that a few times. That basically it works similar to Manifest for anybody who remembers that. Any Magic boomers out there who were playing back in 2010. Yeah, Manifest allows you to put a card from your hand onto the battlefield face down, but it doesn't have a ward. Well, with Cloak, you can put a card from your hand, your library, sometimes from your opponent's decks, all kinds of stuff. You can put them face down with ward. They're just disguised creatures. They're just face down creatures at that point. But they're coming from all different places, and you don't necessarily have to spend mana on them. Other effects usually make them. So yeah, that's Cloak. If you ever see like, oh, Cloak, the top card of your library, you're like, what the heck is that? Well, it's now a face down creature. And you can flip it face up for its mana value or for its casting cost if it's a creature. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a good way to just, again, that deception, decision, so you can get ahead in the game, right? Like, you never want to go at your opponent on the head. You want to lay down a few other plans on the side just so you know where you can get out. And cloaking is a great way to do that. They might think it's a creature, but tell you what, it's probably your cut down that you didn't need in the early game anyways, because you were always going to win the match. You didn't care about the opponent's 2-2. No, they were going to trade for you anyway. So you had it in your back pocket. That card was useless and you were fine.
Yeah, you just need a little bit of stats. It's all good.
That's it.
Also, fun fact, there was a little bit of discussion here before we went live about an interaction that I'd like to call out. So Fuzi, I see you. I gotta say, you're the star pupil today. You got some cool moves. I like the way you think. When a face down creature's face down, if you blink it with a card like Abuelo or Ephemerate, if you're nasty, when you flip it, that card goes into exile, but then it returns to the battlefield. Well, when it returns, it forgets that it was face down before, and it comes in face up. So if you can blink your face down creatures, that's a cheap way to flip them face up, basically for free. Pretty darn cool.
Free. It's like printing free money. I mean, we've got free similar things right now. Like, let's think about the prototype mechanic, right? Like, if we do Touch of the Spirit Realm on a prototype Flesh Gorger one, oh man, let me tell you, that is a free 7/5. But you can do the exact same with something like Disguise and flip it in and get something even bigger. Similar kind
Pure
of
value,
effect.
baby.
It's value in that. You know what? Value. I mean, how do you think we got so rich? Piggy banks, right? It was value.
Well, we knew about value, baby.
It was our value.
Always. Know your value. Know what you're worth.
That's it.
Yeah. And know what those face down creatures are worth. Yeah. It's more than you realize.
If they aren't worth flipping, then just trade them. And that's the other aspect. Remember, like, it's trades and flipping. If it ain't worth it, trade it off. It's going to save your life in the later part. And that's more life you can use for the good times.
Yep. Use what you got. Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid to attack. Turn them sideways, baby. Yeah. And don't be afraid to block with those either. It's good stuff.
Mechanics, though. Like, this set is looking good, Piggy Banks. The money we're going to be reeling in this. And, you know, what does a landlord love more than just getting more cash, more money?
That's all about, baby.
If something comes into mind, it's an 11 drop 215. Have you seen this card? I think you would love this card. I know it's no Piggy, but it's going to make you some cash there, my friend.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you know the Pride of Hulk?
Talking? Oh yeah, Pride of Hulk baby.
That's the one.
Oh yeah, 215.
215.
15. Okay, if you're out there playing standard right now, find me a number higher than 15 on a toughness. I'll wait. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We got 15 toughness. I mean, hey, I'm in. I mean, yeah, it's only got 2 power. Don't worry about it. We got 15, baby. It's 15. 15. Going once, going twice. That's what I thought. We're sold. So Pride of Hulklade is awesome because not only does it have 15 toughness, that sucker can also draw you 15 cards. 15. All you need to do is hit with it once, and it can draw you 15 cards. Believe it or not, that is nowhere near as hard as it sounds. So get after it, folks. I got to say. Because I got to say, it synergizes beautifully with another card in this set that is going to be, I believe, an uncommon, if I'm not mistaken, it's a common called Escape Tunnel. If you have not seen Escape Tunnel yet, everybody, when you're talking about the Pride of Hulklade, right, it's a 215 with Defender. For 4 mana, you can give itself +1/+0, and it loses Defender, or it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. And then if it connects with your opponent, you draw cards equal to its toughness. In this case, 15. Again, 15 cards. I mean, don't mill out doing that.
That's crazy.
I mean, you might, because it's a lot. So much value, though. Oh my goodness. I mean, we can get that many. I mean, stack them up, baby. Stack those cards up.
That's it.
The reason that I mentioned Escape Tunnel, well, because one, it's a land, right? And I mean, we own all the lands, so let's
Yeah,
go ahead and talk about these
absolutely. The
lands.
land you're
Of
playing
course.
on, the lands you're tapping, that's us. That
Mm,
is clearly always us. Look back at the bottom right corner, you'll see it. Piggy bank and burns money right inside. Done and done.
absolutely. It's what we do, baby.
Mm.
So escape tunnel. This land is incredible. Incredible. So it enters untapped. You can tap, sacrifice it, go get a basic land, put it on the battlefield. All right, that's whatever. So it's an evolving wilds terramorphic. We've seen it a million times. Nothing too fancy. It's fine. Okay. The part where this really really stands up. You can tap it, sacrifice it. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. So with the Pride of Hull Clay, just go with me on this. Just hear me out. Hear me out. 215.
215.
It's on the battlefield. Still got defender, can't attack. You're fine. You tap the escape tunnel, sacrifice it. You give it unblockable till the end of the turn. Then you pay 4 mana. You give it the buff, so it's a +1/+0 now. So now it's a 315. No longer power 2 or less. Doesn't matter. Still can't be blocked till end of turn. Then you turn that sucker sideways. Bam! You draw 15 cards when you hit. You're only dealing 3 damage to the opponent, but who cares? You just drew 15 cards.
That's it.
If you
It's the
can't win
50
after drawing
cards.
15 cards, I don't know what to tell you.
Look, like if a Storm player went and drew 15 cards, like the Storm players
Oh.
win. If you're not winning after drawing 15 cards, I don't know what to tell you. Your deck is not what it needs to be. It's just not accurate. Get that deck out of there and learn how to win with drawing 15 cards. Because let me tell you, when a landlord draws 15 cards, the landlord always wins. I mean, we were winning on
Always.
turn 1, but that, I mean,
come
that's
on.
just us. We're just that good. Like we don't
Mhm.
play in on the evolving wilds terramorphic expanse. When we fetch, we bring in our real fetch lands. You think
mean,
I'm
yeah.
not playing Verdant Catacombs in standard? You don't know what you're talking about. That's
You
it.
gonna tell me no? Come on. Yeah.
That's it. 15,
Oh
the
my goodness.
value. A lot of the set is value, I gotta say. Like, we are seeing value on creatures, value on card draw, even talking about value taking down critters. I mean, we brought back a mechanic we haven't seen since the days of Shadowmoor. Wither is back, and on our favorite, corporate hire.
She's just my secretary, I promise. Yeah.
She works in our VIP areas too. She's our head of R&D and our head of victim relations. I mean,
The
corporate
victim
relations.
Yes.
The head of corporate relations, Massacre Girl, coming on in. She knows how to get the job done. Creatures you control have Wither. This is a sweet card we have coming in. And it's a 4-mana 4/4 with menace, because she knows how to doom the Manache and get in the right shakedown. And when she does shakedown, those creatures are not, they ain't standing. There ain't nothing left with this.
Oh no, they're gonna be weak in the knees and every other place too. Oh my goodness. The -1/-1 counters, fantastic. And on top of that, yeah, 4/4 menace for 4. What more do you need, right?
Oh,
So
well,
here,
we got more.
I mean,
We got more.
we
Don't
got
There's
more.
more.
There is more. So creatures you control have Wither. All of them. She's got Wither. Your Spirit Companion's got Wither. Your Preacher of the Schism's got Wither. They all got Wither. Even your Deep Cavern Bat's got Wither because that needed more utility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, of course, I mean, always, right? Get more keywords. All of the keywords. So, we get a chance to add Wither to stuff now. But then, she got this other text on her. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness is less than 1, draw a card.
Words we love. Draw a card. That is
Draw a card.
Draw a card. Value.
That's value, baby.
It's money in
value.
the bank.
We want those cards in our hand. Stack them up. You'll also notice it does not say that it triggers only once each turn. That is important text to be lacking here. We do not
Beautiful.
like people trying to put limitations on the excellence and the value that we can accrue.
The
okay?
landlords do not adhere to the limitations. This once pretend does not exist in our vocabulary. I don't even know what I just said. It's words on a card. If I'm speaking,
Yes.
I'm saying I'm attacking, you're losing, I'm drawing, I'm going on to the next game, and it's an easy 5-0 in tournaments, and Massacre Girl is going to help take us there. Our VP of Consumer Relations, Corporate Relations, and Victim and I'm not... Did I say victim annihilation? I mean friendship. Legitimate relations.
Of course, of course.
She knows how to get the job done.
She sure does. Oh my goodness. I also appreciate that this card specifically synergizes with pretty much every other card in the game with Massacre in the title. It makes it nice and easy. Massacre Worm, the other Massacre Girl, the Meat Hook Massacre. It's all just fair game. You draw cards off all of them. Get nasty. Oh, yeah. If you understand a Massacre, so does Massacre Girl, known killer. Get after it. In standard right now, Shelter the Apocalypse is the premier 4-drop. She just is, and with good reason, I gotta say. She's
She's
definitely
value.
I'm sorry?
She's value. I mean, it's not like she signs her paychecks at the end of the day.
Of course not. I mean, who would do such a thing?
I
Yeah,
don't know. Yes, I mean,
I
we
mean,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, the good
Mhm.
landlords are not buying up real estate to expand Phyrexia Street and its unknown nuances of Elmo Norn and the like.
Yeah, but that we don't necessarily need to be talking about that
Oh yeah,
division. But I mean, in any event. But yes, so Sheldred, the Apocalypse, our our chief financial officer, they are currently the 4-drop, the premier 4-drop. Massacre Girl, Known Killer, I genuinely suspect can fit into those same slots. And actually gives I don't know, makes a solid argument. Because yeah, Sheldred benefits you from drawing cards. You know what Massacre Girl does? Draws you cards. That's what we need.
that's what
Do
we
I need
need.
life? No, I need cards. Give me those cards.
Nah, life is a resource like money, and you just got to make sure you have infinite items. I mean, if we're talking about a new kind of deck coming out with Massacre Go, we're gonna put in our questing bat, the Deep Cavern Bat, because let's be honest,
Hmm.
Deep Cavern Bat is basically a questing beast on a bat and a 2-drop that just does so much more. I mean, flying lifelink, card advantage, and taking something away from your opponent, you couldn't ask for more. Plus, that little life gain is just amazing. Did I say life gain? I meant life gain. Of course, because life's a resource. And when we're pairing that life gain with Massacre Girl, well, that one life's just going to keep on going and going and going and going. So as your bat, it's a swing, 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 and your life, this is money talk here. That's how you're going to draw, draw, draw. Remember, it's swing, 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 life, draw, draw, draw. And it's all about value. It's value is where we live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I got to say, there are tons of valuable cards in this set that are really helping us accrue and really stack it up, really take it home, and dominate on the battlefield. What other cards do you want to talk about while we're here today, Burns Money?
Well, I'm speaking of burning. I'm thinking about that a new incinerator. The incinerator of
Ooh.
the guilty. Because, when rent is due, we got to collect and we got to send out our friends to get the job done. And you know me. It's got to burn like the dragon. So I'm looking at the incinerator of the guilty. Now, this is a big friend of mine coming in from the streets of Rav. It is a dragon, a 6-mana 6/6 for value. Doesn't have haste, a little bit on the downside, but let me tell you, it is a flying and trampler, and the game is going to end here. When we are throwing in our incinerator of the guilty, it is going to swing in and let you do some collecting evidence. And I don't think we touched on this mechanic.
Oh, we did not in our discussion about that. Absolutely. So
You know,
collecting evidence lets you use the resources that you got in places that you weren't otherwise using them in many cases. When you have to collect evidence, you have to exile cards out of your graveyard equal to a certain number. At least the mana value is equal to a certain number. So if we're collecting, if a card says collect evidence 4, we need to exile up to 4 mana value worth of cards out of our graveyard. So sometimes it's a ward effect, sometimes it's a kicker cost, and in this case, we've got a little trigger. So go ahead and walk the people through it. How's this one working?
Yes, you're gonna love this trigger. This is an easy way that burns money always gets it coming back in. See, after we deal the combat damage, we are gonna collect whatever amount of evidence we need. So if I need to make sure that the corporate business I'm trying to take over does absolutely fall down, because I'm never short for cash, let's be honest here. I am gonna choose the amount that I want to collect evidence for. It could be 1, could be 2, could be 0, could be 5.
Could
Whatever
be
you chose,
15.
could be
Just saying.
15. You know what? I might honestly be sometime, because sometimes we gotta take down a certain turtle. And
I
the
mean,
turtle
go
just
ahead.
if the turtle's not working for us, the turtle ain't working. Let's put it that way. That's how it works in this business here. Now we're coming in, we're swinging in, we collect that evidence. I'm gonna go for 15. I'm gonna collect 15 mana value worth of evidence. I am now gonna deal 15 damage to each creature and planeswalker my opponent controls after they just took 6 damage. So not only are we decimating their life total, we are decimating their board, and they cannot financially recover from this.
That's exactly it. Oh my goodness.
It's huge,
This card looks absolutely ridiculous and I love it. And it's a 6/6 flample.
right?
Who doesn't love a good 6/6 flample? So that wins games. What can I say? It
That
just
wins
wins games.
games.
Yeah. And that's what we're all about. We're here winning games. Also, when it comes to collecting evidence, I want to point out this says collect evidence 6. Now, let's assume that your opponent has a virtual persistence online, or a portal to Phyrexia, or that cruelty of Gix over there is about to tick up. And you want to get rid of absolutely everything. All right. Now, in this case, it's collect evidence X. Even if this only said collect evidence 2, for example, you could exile 20 mana worth of stuff out of your graveyard if you want to get rid of it, if you think your opponent's going to use it against you. So You can do that all at once. You are welcome to do that. Just like crewing a vehicle. A vehicle can say crew 1. You could tap 5 things for it. Nobody can. Like, it's fine. You're good. I just want to point that out because that's a creative line that I don't know might come in handy.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be something that's gotta go on there. I mean, things leaving the graveyard doing something. There's something there. An unexploited mechanic that you know for sure the landlord's gonna take advantage of. And I mean, speaking of mechanics to take advantage of, I think we got another cool card here coming in, the Undergrowth Recon. Because not only are we hidden from the front and we're hidden in from collecting evidence, specs, and whatnot, we are getting in a new enchantment coming in with a very similar effect we've seen before, but on a continual ability here. The Undergrowth Recon coming in at 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now imagine here, we're in Piggy Banks' lineup work right now, right? Piggy Banks wants to get that 15 card draw off his sneaky friend he just rehired. He's got to get in unblockable, but the escape tunnel was in the graveyard. Now, lucky Piggy Banks here is already planning ahead. He's already got the splunking going on. Lands are already going to be coming to play on tap, and he drops in the Undergrowth Recon. That escape tunnel suddenly gets to come back again. It comes into play on tap. He sacks it again, and now his turtle is going to get in there, deal some more combat damage, and he's going to get to draw 15 more cards. Huge.
And then if I have to discard the hand size, discard some lands, no worries. This will get them back.
You
love to see it. Oh, this is fantastic. I got to say, I also love the artwork on this card, proving that there are, in fact, cameras on Ravnica. Didn't know that was a thing, but good for them. They're ahead of the curve. They're further along than I expected. Or at least this guy is. This guy knows what's up.
Yep. Technology advancements. They get in. They know where the money's at.
They know where the money's at. Absolutely. Good for them. Those guilds, I'm telling you, they're onto something.
They're doing it right. And we got, speaking of other guilds, though, there was a really fancy spoiler we saw today. And I think there was some debate about it, if I'm not mistaken. What do we call it? There was a Lehu? Lay what?
The lay line? The line? I think it was a line. It wasn't a curve. It wasn't a lay curve, I don't think, this time. Anyway.
No, I think it was a lay line.
A ley line. Okay.
Like a ley line.
So the ley line.
Ley who?
What was it? A ley line of. So it was what? The ley line.
Ley line of Guild Pact, wasn't it?
Of the Guild Pact.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ley line.
So ley line of the Guild Pact. This thing's interesting. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there, Burns Money? What you thinking?
This is printing free money. You're telling me everything's everything and anything? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, let me pick this in. Like, if I'm playing in the older formats here, because what else are we gonna play with our ancient tombs, our dual lands, our Black Lotus sitting in the banks, right? Like, I got like 15.
Of course.
Well, like we toss in a couple Black Lotuses. We play a little show and tells. We're gonna start with our hand in here. We're gonna sneak in the ley line of the Guild Pact, and we're gonna show and tell in Coalition Victory.
Oh, now we're talking. Okay.
And that's money. That's money right there. That's a game one right there.
That sounds fantastic to me. I'm digging it. So we got Coalition Victory. Also, for folks out there who have been trying to make Happily Ever After work, I was telling you, that is not good value, but this card will definitely help you. Personally, whenever anybody tells me that they got something for free, whenever anybody says, "Hey, this is free," I'm not interested. But you better tell me what's the retail. What's the retail on that sucker? Now, in this case, retail, 4 mana. Okay, now I'm listening. Yeah, it's like, okay, so this is free for everybody? I mean, I'm used to free stuff, but this is free to absolutely everybody.
Well, that's it.
I don't know about this. But yeah, exactly. So it's funny you mentioned Coalition Victory, because absolutely, that becomes just a win right there. Because, yeah, all your lands are all the different things. All your non-land permanents are every color.
That's it.
Gives you all of it right there. All for one. The other thing that I find amazing about this is just domain. If you are the master of your domain, I mean, you can cast a turn 1 Leyline Binding off of a pain land with this. Are you kidding me right now? That is insane. Not that anybody needs a turn 1 Leyline Binding. I'm just saying. I mean, you could do it. It's an option.
We do. I mean, we already had. We were playing Leyline Bindings back before they were cool. We already had all our basics. Heck,
I mean, you're right. But we've got our turn 1 6 drops. We've been having those. We've had those for years. I mean, but that's just.
It's true. That's true.
But yeah, now everybody gets them. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. This is insane. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, for us to get richer, we did have to give the people something, right?
I suppose. Yeah. Now I'm just gonna say it out loud. If this is what everybody gets, I mean, just imagine what we're keeping from you.
That's it. That's it. You always know
Mm,
the landlord's got something special packing. We ain't gonna tell you all
absolutely.
the secrets. We're just here to help you help us, like we said from the start. Well, that and get you money because we got to collect rent. And hey,
I
rent's
mean,
still
yeah.
due, so start paying up. This ain't free information.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's laid out of the guild pact. I gotta say, I know a lot of people are saying this is a do nothing. Nah, man, this card I think does a lot. I think it does a lot in the decks that want it. I don't know about you, but I've got 2 5-color commander decks. I'll make space. Yep,
I'll find some space.
I'll
I've got
find some
like
space.
I've got like one that like it could like fit in right now, but I could do I could do a second with this here, and I could easily jam this in with just like a Valakut. We could go on our explanatory. We could take the private jacks over to Zendikar that I check out my private
Mm,
villa in Valakut and
mm.
just start rolling in the damage. Like let me tell you,
Oh
every
my
time a
goodness.
land drop comes in, that's 3 damage easy because everything's a mountain with this thing. Now we talking eternal formats here, a little bit out there, but it's gonna be great and it's gonna be awesome, and I'm loving it. I'm for it. The combo
Well, we talk
potential.
about Valakut. Valakut's a great shout out. Fun fact: did you know right there's a Valakut effect in standard right now, but nobody's playing it because nobody wants to be running mountains into turn 6 or 7. Well, all of a sudden you've got these. So the Koth, 4 mana Koth, has a Valakut emblem as the ultimate.
Ooh.
So running all mountains is kind of a pain right now. No, it doesn't really fit with a lot of different decks that are going on right now. But if all your lands are just incidentally mountains,
A little bit different there.
wait a minute, that's a little different. Exactly. So I think there might be some control decks with maybe some Koth action going on in the near future with this card. I'm just saying. Just saying.
We should get this Koth fellow on the payroll there. Bring him into the piggy bank burns money side of life. Really teach him how to bring in that value.
Absolutely. I think you might be onto something there. Definitely. We'll need to give him a call. I think he's free these days.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, for us, always free, right?
I mean, yeah. We'll make it work.
Oh,
Everybody's got the price.
that's it.
Absolutely. All right. So we've been talking this whole time now, and I mentioned about the lands. We are the landlords. I think it's only appropriate that we talk about the rare land cycle
Mm.
in this format. How are we feeling about that, Burns Money?
I'm actually pretty cool with these lands. I gotta say, this is a fine investment coming in, and you better know Burns Money already has 4 copies of each, if not more. So let me tell you, nothing feels better than having a land that is fetchable. And I love fetchable lands. Bringing in catacombs it in, doing some timeless fetch, doing whatever kind of fetch I need in any kind of format I want it. And the value that this comes in is phenomenal. We are playing in a set where you're going to be collecting evidence and wanting things in your graveyard. And you already know Piggy Banks and I were dumping stuff in the graveyard because we had to take out the trash for certain reasons. Bad business plans don't always go awry, and we've made some expenditures that just don't work out. So it goes to our graveyard, we toss it there and go in, and we do some special things with Souls of the Lost from Ixalan and power it up. Well, isn't just this the best way to fill our graveyard even more so we can collect more evidence and power those strategies where we use in the graveyard? We're surveilling. We're tossing. You don't like the top card of your deck? Stick it in the graveyard. Do some graveyard strategies. Have some value. That's what these lands are all showing. And they all have a basic land type.
I love it. I love
It's
this.
beautiful.
I think this is absolutely fantastic. And I hear people compare these to the temple lands, right? The ones that came into play tapped and then that you would scry one. I mean, what's a scry worth, really? I mean, not worth the tapped land, I'll tell you that right now. And
Absolutely.
so at the end of the day, we got a power creep on some cards that we haven't played in a while. It's okay. I gotta say, I think this takes those lands and makes them playable. Surveil, definitely better than Scry. Like 90% of the time, I think 1-for-1, better. And I gotta say too, I'm definitely gonna be playing these in my timeless decks, that's for sure. Because that surveil's reasonable, being able to fetch them, like you said. And I think in older formats where you got fetch lands, these things are fantastic. If you don't need an untapped land in that moment, these are what you grab because they just get a little extra value on the way in. That's fantastic. I gotta say, I would compare these also to the cycling lands, the fetchable cycle lands, because those are always coming into play tap, but you have the added benefit of being able to cycle them later. Now, which one's better? I don't know. You can debate that until you blue in the face. I think they're about the same, honestly, because being able to fetch this and get value the moment it hits is just real nice. Also, any deck that's running Primeval Titan, have a couple of these. Why not?
Huge.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Oh my goodness.
Just like
It's beautiful.
The value we see in the top card of your deck and whether deciding to have it in the graveyard or keeping it on top is huge. Like comparably, like we said, like Scry, sure, kind of similar. Like Scry, keep it on the top, duck it to the bottom. But what Scry doesn't do is let you interact with your graveyard. And there are so many strategies where having different card types in your graveyard is so key. Like Piggy Banks was touching on timeless because I mean, what else are the landlords going to play? We play every format, every expensive thing.
Absolutely.
we got our lotuses. You know the story. But what's
Of
going to
course.
be great is say we pop in a fetch land here. We bring in our survey land, and we got like a little we got some Mishra's Bauble action going on. We got some Unholy Heats in the hand. We got a Darcy. I'm even going to be playing Underworld Breach. I'm going to be doing a Breach combo in my graveyard, and I want things in my graveyard to get back, right? That's where the Surveil is going to be huge. I'm going to be able to fetch this in, get a tap, Surveil the top, and already start my Delirium count and filling up my graveyard with all the cards I need. So my Darcy is going to be ready and a 3/3 ready to attack, or I'm already going to just combo off on like turn 2. Because I've just simply surveilled what I need in the graveyard. It's just that amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I gotta say, I think these lands, and I mean, one of them's even called Shadowy Backstreet. I mean, fortunately, we don't have to. We got people that can deal with those places nowadays. But I mean,
Yeah.
we all had to start somewhere. So
Yeah, Vice President of
here's
Shadow
to the shadowy.
Relations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So here's to all those shadowy backstreets and all you folks out there. We see you. We appreciate you.
We got you.
All right.
And if y'all
We
have
got you.
together,
Also, that the rent on that backstreet is in fact due. So just
it
be aware of
is.
that. I mean,
And if you haven't put it together, yeah, we have a VP for like everything. So don't worry about it. All your rent money goes to paying for all our VIPs who also then pay us because they owe us rent. So
I mean,
really,
yeah,
everybody's paying to us, so it's a good time.
just how it works.
Yeah.
Some people call that a pyramid scheme. I just call that good business.
Yeah, it's just a good deal. Keep my life going. It's how I paid for the private jet the other week. I flew in great. The trip over Valakut, amazing.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the newest models. It's the best.
It was it.
Absolutely. You love to see it. Oh my goodness. Fantastic. What other cards do we want to touch on while we're here?
I think there were a couple other really kind of interesting ones too, bringing back some reminiscences. I mean, I don't know. Do you remember the Dragon's Maze? The trip? Solving some stuff. Shenanigans. It wasn't really that great. We weren't really impressed. We already picked up all the money copies and held them in for the rainy days so we could cash them in when they're finally worth hundreds of dollars.
I mean, well, yeah.
We can't.
Of course.
So we got this new flash enchantment, Lost in the Maze. It is an X enchantment, double blue, right? So it flashes in here, it enters the battlefield, you can tap X target creatures, which, I mean, maybe seems like okay. Well, like what you got here is if you tap an opponent's creature, that creature is going to get a stun counter. What's even better for you is your tap creatures you control get hexproof.
I mean, that's pretty fantastic. So if your stuff's tapping, because let's be honest, you want to be tapping. Always be tapping.
Always be tapping.
Very important. Always be tapping. And so yeah, if your creatures are tapped, nobody can touch them. You love to see it. And on top of that, because you can flash this in, yeah. So yeah. Oh my goodness. So this is a protection spell for your creatures.
Yeah.
I'm just now really appreciating the beauty of this card. It's a protection spell for your creatures, and it also pins down your opponent's creatures, preventing them from tapping at you. You love to see it. Oh my goodness! And on top of that, if your opponent has a mana dorks, just little dorks is over there making mana on their upkeep, flash this sucker in, tap those down, and they're down for that turn and the next turn. Come on now, that's absurd.
It's done and out. Like we see that new the band Toxic get going around, and I mean, not that maybe we had a say or anything to do with it. I don't know nothing. I'm a legitimate business person most days, but let me tell you, I could see this card slotting in perfectly in there because when you just want to get in that final point of damage, if you just don't have the proliferate cards in hand, and you're running March of the Swirling Mist because obviously, but you also run this as a protection piece since you're going in and tapping to attack. You flash this in, you tap down your opponent's board, you get in that final point of Toxic. Easy.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be running this. This definitely reminds me of the March of Swirling Mist that we see in that deck right now. It's similar vibe, different execution. I love it.
And it's a protection though, because remember that deck really wants protection pieces, and this is like protection on your whole board as long as you're attacking. Your opponent.
Now the one thing, absolutely. The one thing about this though, it's an enchantment entering the battlefield. Is that activated? It's the triggered ability that targets.
Yeah.
That means it's not going to trigger the Rot Priest. So be aware of that. If you're looking to just get the Rot Priest poison counters, that's not going to happen with this, whereas it does happen with March of Swirling Mist. Just be aware of that. But y'all are smart. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's protection. That's what you need at the end of the day. It's protection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, overall,
You'll love to see it.
we got some really sweet cards coming in here, Piggy Banks.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
don't
my
have much.
goodness.
I don't have much other on my list. Burns Money already kind of has his set aside. But what about you? Any other cards picking your interest?
I love it. One card that has me very intrigued because of the name is something that I've been accused of, falsely, I may say, in the past, and that is
Allegations.
outrageous robbery. Oh my goodness. Those accusations absolutely outrageous. I've been acquitted. I assure you, it has nothing to do with any kind of multi-digit settlements. Don't concern yourself about that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an instant. This is an instant. Remember that, everybody. Instant for X black. Target
Value.
opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remained exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though mana of any type to cast it.
Speaking prayers, my friend. Speaking prayers, Piggy Bank.
Oh my goodness. We're talking about how important it is to be drawing cards, right? What's better than drawing your own cards? Drawing that poor sucker's cards across the table from you. Oh my goodness. And this draws X. Black X. How many cards of yours am I stealing? And I get them forever. It's not like you only get them for the turn. They're yours for the rest of the game. Those are your cards now. And mana's not even an issue. They're not even concerned about that. You just get them. You know, other cards like this, like the Decadent Dragon and whatnot, they make you pay the different colors of mana. This one does not. The mana is fixed. You can pay whatever. I think this card is nothing short of ridiculous. Like, at the very least, if you're in a mill strategy where you're trying to blow up your opponent's deck, this is a great way to hit a big chunk of it all at once, and you get a bunch of tools in the process. If you're playing any kind of control deck, hey, maybe I don't have a finisher. No, I'll just take yours. Like, this is absolutely nuts. Your opponent just cast a Vampiric Tutor, gets to lock the top of their deck. Meh, mine now. It's absolutely ridiculous. I love it.
That brings to mind, we got some other stuff. Like you mentioned it, that the Decadent Dragons in standard, we got Siphon Inside in standard. Just imagine it. We put these all together and we have the perfect Piggy Bank Burns Money deck come to life. We Siphon Inside turn 2. We Decadent Dragon, Expensive Taste turn 3. We've already stolen their land drops. They're stuck on 2 lands. They haven't hit anything for the last 4 turns. And then we start getting to turn 5 and 6. We do some outrageous robbery. And we end it off, of course, because our hand is stacked. We've been hitting all our land drops because we're playing our opponent's lands, landlords and whatnot.
Absolutely.
That's
one of my favorite. That right there is one of my favorite styles. The Grixis or the Dimir Your Stuff decks. I love it. Oh, it's the best.
And just finish them off with Gix. We Gix them. We siphon them. We expensive taste them. Wined and dined. Hit them with a small little robbery that they can never see. They never hit the land drops, and then we Gix them. We get them. We get even more cards from the top. And it's going to be great. They're paying for our win.
It's going to be insane. Let me tell you what. The Arena client is not ready for the number of cards I'm going to be drawing off this. It's not.
In the slightest. Not in the slightest.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait.
Love it, though. Love it.
Oh, I got to say, this set has me very much intrigued. I think we got all kinds of amazing things happening. Let's see. We also have a couple of requests there, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the people are curious about some cards, which I appreciate. Thank you for saying something out there, folks. I appreciate that.
We can definitely answer those, but just remember, folks, it's going to cost you $500 for every request you ask from us. It is not a cheap service we provide. It is quality service. Sorry, let me correct myself. Quality service.
Yeah, this is a premium service, everybody. It just is what it is.
Cheap. This ain't your run of the mill. We are the landlords.
Don't worry, the invoice will be in the mail. It'll be fine.
You'll get it in like 2 days tops, maybe 1 day.
So Cryptex came up. So Cryptex is an artifact. It's an artifact for 2. You can tap, collect evidence 3, add 1 mana of any color, and you put an unlock counter on it. And then you can sacrifice it to surveil 3, then draw 3 cards. Activate only if Cryptex has 5 or more unlock counters on it. So the idea is, we've seen mana rocks before, right? And we've seen the mana rock with sets mechanic. This isn't a new thing. We see this all the time, right? Normally they're 3 mana though, and you just get the mana unrestricted. You just get to tap, add the mana, and then you can do something else that's relevant for the set. This one's only 2. That's a very significant difference. A 2-mana rock versus 3-mana rock. Okay, now we're talking. This is you. Okay, we can work with this. The price is right. Now, the fact that you have to collect evidence 3 in order to get a mana off of it, though, is a very real downside, very real cost. So in decks that are milling themselves, like the Squirming Emergence decks, those kind of situations, that's not going to be that big of a deal. But for other decks, maybe that's going to hurt a little bit, maybe a little tricky. So you got to be careful about that. Also, the fact that you can sacrifice it for 3 cards later, plus, I mean, you get to surveil 3, then 3 cards. That's actually incredible. But 5 unlock counters?
It's a big investment. I mean,
Come on, you're killing me with this. You're killing me. 5? Oh,
like we
I
are.
would have given that. I would have given you that for 3, maybe. I would have tried to haggle you down to 2, but 5? Come on, that's ridiculous.
I would have done 3. 5 is outrageous because when we have to look at that 5 unlock counters times that by 3, that's 15 mana. We are sinking 15 mana worth of cards into this thing for simply 5 mana taps and then sacking it just to draw 3, surveil 3. I mean, maybe you're looking at 6 cards, but you're losing 15 mana worth.
And on top of that, we're talking about the earliest you could do this, assuming you're playing fair, which of course we are not. But if we were to, the earliest you'd be able to crack that is what, turn 5? Come on. That's crazy. So the only time I would think about using this is if I'm interacting with counters in some way. You put like a proliferate shell around this, okay, now we're talking. Because then maybe we can kind of cheat that a little bit, get a little faster. Okay, sure. You get the 1 on it fairly, and then from there you just, you're cheesing them up. That's fine. I see no problem with that. But outside of that, I don't know. And they're not even charge counters. So like old school stuff like Core Tapper and Power Conduit, those aren't going to help you here. Ugh.
Don't like it.
I don't love that. I think this card's fine, but it's not great. That's
I don't like something I gotta pay for, and when I'm paying more than what I'm getting back, the return on investment just isn't there for me, and I'm not feeling it for this card. That being said, I do think it has a few maybe niche places it kind of fits in. It definitely is a unique effect, but I'm with Piggy Banks. It just isn't fitting into Burns Money's inventory. I'm spending more than I'm getting back, and that's just not how I operate.
So, okay, bottom line. Maybe for future shows like this is an idea. Bottom line. So, Burns Money, are you buying or selling Cryptex?
I am buying cheap, selling high, but I ain't keeping.
I'm selling. I'm out. Yeah.
That's it. We're done. We're selling on this guy. We are
selling on
not buying it.
Cryptex. Not buying it. Sorry, not happening. But best of luck in your future endeavors, Cryptex. All right.
No, we got one other one though, right? What was it? Slime Against Humanity.
Slime Against Humanity. My goodness, my ex-wife used to call me a slime against humanity, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know how she knew that was going to be an expression, but here we are. Oh my goodness.
She called you a slime?
I mean,
look, on your worst days, you're a frying good-looking friend there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Not you.
All right. But in any event, if we're sliming against humanity or doing other things against humanity, allegedly. Then the way that works, so we got a sorcery here. This is a green sorcery for 2 and a green. You make a 0/0 green ooze creature token with trample. And you put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are oozes or name slime against humanity. So if I'm not mistaken, the way that works is the first one comes in as a 3/3 because it does count itself, right? Or am I mistaken?
No, it's ability would be on the stack by that point, right? For resolution of the spell. So we'd have to check what's in the graveyard at that time. Treat it like Ancestral Anger, right? It'd be just like Ancestral Anger. Ancestral Anger doesn't see its original own on there.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, so in this case, the first one will come in as a 2/2. Second one will come as a 3/3, assuming that you don't like reshuffle or something crazy like that.
You got it.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. But wait, there's more. A deck can have any number of cards named Slime Against Humanity.
I love that.
There it is. That's it.
That's our $5 uncommon. That's our value town right there. Easy.
This is a common, baby. This is a common. So I gotta say, as for you investors out there, this one is one of those that you're gonna open and you're gonna be like, I don't have a deck for this. What do I do with it? You hold it. You put that sucker in plastic because the demand on these is gonna be sky high, huge. People are gonna want these. So you buy it, you sit on it. You sit on that for like a year. Turn it around. Look at Dragon's Approach right now. Take a look at Dragon's Approach. That was that was a forgettable uncommon from Strixhaven. Sucker's a solid $2-3 card right now. And as an uncommon, I got a handful of those in my bulk bin right now because the people who want them want a ton of them. And so that's absolutely going to happen here. Those ooze players out there, I see you.
They're
I
gonna
appreciate
want 'em.
you. I gotta, yeah, everybody out there who's been trying to make an FA Progenitor Ooze commander deck work is gonna want 20 of these suckers, guaranteed, at least. So I have a feeling that this card is gonna be legit. At the end of the day, is it gonna be an actual good competitive card? Maybe in Pauper, for any Paupers out there. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. But in competitive, I don't know. I like the idea, I like the design. There are gonna be some really fun commander decks that are getting created from this. So I don't know. Like, this is one of those. I think I'm buying this one. I'm into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm buying and holding. I'm definitely buying and
Yep.
holding. I think this
Buying
is
and
something
holding,
that's gonna have
absolutely.
the values because like we gotta look. What about those persistent petitioners? They always keep coming back to us. We can never get rid of them. Or
Never.
what was it? My one friend Razakat, he always tells me about his Shadowborn Apostles. I don't ever go into that side of the business
I
anymore,
mean,
but you know, shady
I
deals
know
and whatnot.
Retadribek will not get off my back about this. Oh my
That's
goodness.
it. That's it.
Hmm.
But yeah, just when it says any number's a good number. Because Benzamani and Piggy Bank know any number means we're never running out.
Never. Absolutely. Everybody gets however many they want. It's great. This is fun. I like this. Could you imagine this with some kind of storm situation? Oh.
Oh, I
Also,
easily could.
there's an interaction that I saw somebody posting out online where they talked about this along with surgical extraction
Ooh,
because this counts the number that are in exile. So if you can get one into your graveyard just by casting it, for example, and then you surgical extract your own Slime Against Humanity, exile 15 of those suckers, cast one more. Oh, you baby,
we love
it's
that.
happening. So the amount of silliness that you can do with this, it's there, it's real. I'm
You,
into it.
you know, you mentioned about exile and stuff and surgical extractions and taking on. I think we got a new partner card together that kind of puts together a few different things, if I'm not mistaken. You know,
Indeed,
Burns Money
we
and Piggy
did.
Bank like to maintain control of the board state. The only board we like is our own, so we'll use some board wipes here and there to take out our opponent's stuff, or we'll invest in a Sunfall, take out the board, and get a creature we can swing in for lethal up on the next turn. That's what we do. But we've got a
We do,
new
baby.
one, mono black board clear. I forget the name, but I do remember it is a 3 colors and 2 black. But what was the name, Piggy Bank?
Deadly cover up.
Just what I'd love to
Yeah.
do, allegedly.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Sometimes, hey, you can't. Some stuff out there you can't let exist on the limelight. You got some things that need to be covered up. It is what it is. Okay, it's cost of doing business.
That's it.
So deadly cover up. 3 black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. So remove 6 mana value worth of stuff from your graveyard. Destroy all creatures. Period. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name, exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way.
Perfect. Pristine.
No
You know
notes.
what?
I'm
The
buying it.
landlords have the targeted way to take out the basic lands of our opponent. Remember when we said your lands were ours? Well, when we're running our steal your stuff deck, we're stealing your lands and then we're exiling your lands. You got nothing left when you're playing against the landlords.
None of them. Yeah, there's no restriction. Any card type you want. So if you're going up against a mono black player, hey, it's a shame that swamp found its way into your graveyard because now you don't got any left in your deck. So, like, I hope those 3 that you got are going to be enough to do your game plan. Oh, they're not? Well, that's a shame. Yeah, it's pretty darn sweet. I'm a fan. The other best part about that, if you're going up against the mono colored decks, you can put Field of Ruins and those kind of effects in your deck. That way, if they do have a couple of lands, you can pop them off. It's like, oh, basic check. Oh, I know you don't have any. It's going to feel great. So you could do that. But be careful because you're thin in your opponent's deck. If their mana base is already set, you don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. But against those domain decks, man, they get jumpy with the herd migrations. They're always just playing another herd migration. Like, don't worry, I'll just play another herd migration. It's fine. They play out a herd migration. They got a full board. Deadly cover up. Boom. Then you exile the herd migration. No more herd migrations for the rest of the game. You don't have to worry about it. Easy peasy. No problem.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. The potential of this card is absolutely insane. You put this in addition to like a mill package or anything else. If you're going up against control and they've got one finisher, I have terrible news.
That's it. You're
It's
done.
beautiful.
You're out.
You're done, son. Get it out of here. Oh, I think the power on this card is very, very high. I think this is going to be a good one.
I think this is actually something, not to say that mono black has been off the menu. I mean, as we know in standard, mono black has been kind of not in the tier 1 spot we know and used to love, but it's kind of been tier 3, tier 2. But I do think this brings in a potential archetype back for tier control, tier C. This is good mono black control, because back in the day, we had a mono black deck in the Strixhaven days with Blood in the Snow, and that was a 6 mana board wipe. We are
I
now
remember
living
Blood
in
and
a
Snow.
world
Oh,
where we've got much of Regisaurus, we have Go for the Throws, we have Cut Downs, we have all this other new stuff. We even have things like the End for other removal of effects, and now we're bringing in this card too. You got Stone Brain. I would not be surprised if Mono Black Control gets put back on the menu with this type of card, because now they've got card effects to remove from the deck. They've got a board clear that comes with it and can do it. They still got the End, so you can Stone Brain the End. You hit them with this. You still got Phyrexian Arena to continually draw cards in your turn. Have She-Holder as a finisher. Hit him with an Aclazotz if you need more. If you want 3 drops, I mean, heck, you got Preacher at the Schism, which is just a fine drop to put in.
Liliana the
It's
Veil still
yeah,
here. I'm one of the things about that control deck that you mentioned. We had Lolth, the Spider Queen,
we do have
and the
love.
5-drop slot, like the 5-drop Planeswalker that could draw you cards and do, it was a 5-drop mono black Planeswalker that drew you cards and created tokens. If only we had something like that in the current standard. Oh wait, there's Ashiok from Wilds of Eldraine. Lalt,
Easy.
is that you? The problem with that deck, with that particular card and why the mono black kind of control deck doesn't really exist right now is because it didn't have a good sweeper. Well, hey,
Problem
guess what?
solved.
Problem solved. Yep. Boom.
Look, all I can
I
say,
think that's yeah, so good.
I was gonna say, like, all I can say is I think the landlords, we heard what your pleas were. You wanted Mono Black on the menu, and we brought it back. We brought it back better. Now you're gonna thank us and pay us. That's just how it's gonna work. Because we're
That's how
gonna
this
play it
works.
against you, and we're gonna steal all your stuff. I mean, it was ours to begin with, anyways, right?
We're just gonna take it back.
Yeah. Cool though. Very excited.
Awesome.
New cards coming in for Burns Money and Piggy Banks. You can better believe that we are excited for the Murders of Karlov Manor coming out in not even 2 weeks, February 6th.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yep. So we're gonna
Soon.
get these while they're hot, and yeah, we're looking forward to finding you on the ladder so we can outrageous robbery your whole deck.
Absolutely.
It's happening. So be ready. Looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. We fully expect the rent checks to be on their way. So thank you for your courtesy and your consideration in taking care of that for us, so that we don't have to have any further discussion about it.
Absolutely. Hey, Piggy Banks, why don't you tell the fine people where they can find you at and, give you the early deposit on rent so we're not having to shake them down almost every week?
You got it. So, folks, if you want to reach out to me directly, one of the best ways to do that is here on Twitch, twitch.tv/hamhocks42. You can find me there. And yeah, I'm streaming all kinds of fun stuff, playing just ridiculous nonsense in standard, timeless, you name it. We have a good time over there. So looking forward to seeing you there. I'm also on YouTube and some of those other places. Hamhocks42 and all the things. But yeah, here you can call me Piggy Banks. So Burns Money, how about you, man? I mean, we're at your house here. I mean, you're hosting, so
I mean,
yeah,
nonetheless, people, when they get when we got to show some proper hospitality. I'm not
of course, of course.
an unauspicious person here. Y'all can find me at twitch.tv/astralsflame. I'm also on the YouTube, on the Instagram, the TikToks, and the Twitter or the X, whatever you want to find me. You can find me at astralsflame. But if you want to call me Burns Money, well, I'll be here doing that on a weekly basis when we're hosting your landlords. Because, friends, rent is due. So it's time to pay up and drop that follow.